Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc. Hey guys, and welcome to today's episode. Well, this episode is kind of like a what's Alex up to today kind of episode. I did go out this morning with my son Jason, and we did buy some stuff from an estate. Actually, if you watch the videos I did before where I went and I got all the old video games and computers and stuff, I went back there again because the gentleman had a lot more stuff, and we ended up just buying a few things which we're going to get out of the car. On the flip side, you can see our old Ferrari was a project car that I rebuilt last winter, has no wheels on it. In fact, it's been floating in midair like that for about 2.5, 3 months. I took the wheels into one shop. They didn't do a great job, so I took them into another shop. They finally got done. We're gonna go pick them up for my friend Scott, who was able to get new tires on it for me. So today should be a wheel day. And on top of all that, my son Steven's with me. And this is a little motorcycle we picked up in that motorcycle episode. Well, okay, it's not really a motorcycle. It's a Honda Spree. It's a 50cc with an automatic transmission, very low miles. Problem is, it's cranking but not starting. So Steven, who took, you took automotives in school?
Yeah.
How confident are you that you can get this thing running?
I am almost 100% confident.
Well, we'll see how 100% confident if that translates into a running spree by the end of today's episode. But lots going on today, but we've got to go pick up the rims for the car. Before I do that though, I got to get the stuff out of the trunk so there's room for the rims. So let's get the stuff out of the trunk, and I'll do a little preview of what's in there right now. Steven didn't see any of this stuff. Okay, you want to start grabbing some boxes?
Sure.
Okay, we've got old robots, we've got toy cars, there's all kinds of neat stuff. We're gonna get this all out and I will go through it in detail, but I need space for, well, I just need space. So thank you, kiddo, and then we'll head out and go meet up with Scott. Okay, with all the stuff out of the back, and trust me, we'll go through that in a little bit, we now have the room in the back of the vehicle. Surprisingly, the Tesla has quite a bit of storage space in it. When I cleared out the apartment that had the Miata and the Ford Escape and all that other stuff, I did almost the entire clear out in this vehicle. And people were shocked when I went to the charities to donate stuff that I was unloading truckloads of stuff out of the inside of this car. So it actually does have pretty good cargo space with the seats down. But frankly, I'm excited because I haven't seen my car on the ground in a couple months, and that's also meant that my old Jag that's up top has been stuck up there too. So it's gonna be a good day today, and I'm excited to see how they turned out. We are back from the shop, and I say the shop, but it was my friend Scott's house, but he is also a mechanic and shop, so there you go. Wheels are back, and gosh, do they ever look nice. Now, he didn't do the paint. I had this done at a shop here in town, and they did a great job. The tires is what Scott was putting on, and we've got Bridgestones on here. Originally, it would have been Michelin. However, they don't really make that size that we need. We got as close to factory as possible, and I will get these things on, and I'm excited to see what it looks like. In the meantime, Steven's ran inside the house for a minute, but when he comes back out, I'm going to see if he can remove these panels, and we can do a little troubleshooting on the engine on this. Where we're at so far is that if I turn it to run and turn the key on, we do have good battery and we do have good compression, but it's not firing. Now I'm thinking that this bike has been sitting for a while, so it probably needs to be gone through. The carb might be dry, it might not be getting fuel into it, might be clogged, I don't know. The plug might be fouled. We'll have to figure that out. But it's probably gonna be the carburetor or the spark plug somewhere in there. So we'll go through that and see. But as for me, I'm gonna work on getting these wheels out and back on the car. Steven is back out and working away. So there's a couple more screws than we expected.
Yep.
All right. Before I get my shiny new wheels on, gosh, those look good. I have to put a little bit of grease. I'm gonna use some bearing grease on the splines, just so we don't have any seizing issues or that down the road. They would have done that originally too. So just gonna put a little bit of grease on there on each wheel. I've got my rubber glove because I don't want to get, this isn't my fancy going out look. I don't know what I'd be going out to do. Anyway, I'm gonna get some grease on there. My mind went to all sorts of places. Stay focused. Back to the wheels. Okay, I've got some fresh grease on the hubs down there, and there's two things going on at the same time. One, I'm doing the wheels on the car. Steven got the cowling covers off. That engine actually looks pretty tidy, you know, considering this was sitting for a bit. A little bit of cleaning would help, but we should check. I'm guessing that's gonna be the filter. We'll check that. There's the itsy bitsy carburetor. It does need a little cleaning. I've got some carb cleaner. And I topped up the oil. This is a 2-stroke, and it does have gas in it. So if you want, it looks like it's just one little plug right on the other side there. We've got relay. I noticed that the headlight wasn't working. It might need to run for it to work, but we should also check the inline fuse. I'll leave that to you to check the inline fuse on that and make sure we're okay. But good work so far.
Thanks.
Hey, rims are going on nicely. I do have one little issue where these tabs need to be slightly adjusted because it's not holding very snug against the center, and I don't want those spinning. Meanwhile, Steven has discovered something. We're gonna walk over here. That the spark plugs, what's the matter?
Well, they're covered in oil, but that's probably because it's a 2-stroke engine.
Yeah, but you're probably not gonna get a very good spark on that. So he's gonna take that out and clean it off.
Yep.
And see if that helps. So we're both keeping busy. All right, I've got the wheels back on, and with the car, having it been up on jack stands for a while, the suspension is quite high. It hasn't compressed yet. One of the best ways to get the suspension to sit back down is to go for a little drive. But before I do that, Steven and I are gonna see what's going on with this engine, see if cleaning that plug helped at all. Okay, Steven's cracking the garage. You can open it right up. It's pretty warm out today. I'm gonna give it a little bit of quick start because this thing hasn't run in a while. All right, so turn it to run. Is it in run? Turn the key forward. And you gotta hold the brake in while you push the little starter button. You don't need to touch the key.
Just push this in?
Nope, right there.
Oh, I see. I'm used to a kickstand.
Yeah, give it a try. Let's try it again. Give it a little gas, like give it a little throttle. Wait. Oh, you stopped. It was just about to go. Okay, Okay, there we go, there we go. All right, she lives. Let's enter. Okay, open up the garage door all the way for a sec. Running, and that also solves our headlight issue. It has to be on for the headlight to go. Okay, one running Honda Spree. Good job. Well, looks like you got it all together, Steven. So you know what that means. It means we gotta open up the garage door so you can take this for a test drive. And then I can take mine for a test drive too. Okay. Now you gotta sit on it.
Yep.
You remember how to start it? Key on.
Yep.
That's not the key. There you go. Key on, brake in. And the starter's a little tricky. If it seems like it grinds, just let off it. Okay, starts right up. Okay, give it a try. There he goes. Leaving the typical 2-stroke smoke trail behind it. I don't know where he went, couldn't have gone that far. Let's turn around. Just have to follow the trail of smoke. Once it warms up, it doesn't smoke as much. Well, I would say that's a job well done. Looks good.
Yeah. Spot.
So in case you're wondering and not familiar, a two-stroke motorcycle gets its lubrication in the engine through the oil and through the gas. It doesn't have oil like a regular engine would. The oil is mixed with the gas, which is why you get the smoke blow by. As it heats up, which it is right now, you can see it's burning hardly any at all. But yeah, when it's cold, not so great. As it turns out, there's one more person who wanted to give it a try. It wasn't, okay, it was two more people wanted to give it a try. I gave it a try, and I think I see them coming now. There goes an Abigail. I am going to, this is what's happening right now. There goes a Steven. Apparently he got it away from Abigail because she's chasing after him. I want to take my car for a drive and see how it runs on new tires. I'm glad the kids are having fun on the scooter, and that was Abigail's first time riding a motorcycle, and she did great. But now I'm going to take this car out for a drive. I get, you know, it's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. I got to go out and test it and see how the tires are. I've never actually driven it on soft tires. The ones that were on there before were probably 20 years old or so. I'm actually kind of impressed. The car started right up after sitting for, you know, 4 some odd months. But let's go for a ride. Cars like this really are meant to be driven and started regularly. They don't like it. They don't like to sit and be idle. Not one bit. Oh gosh, that's so smooth compared to my very first drive. The tires were like squares, they were cubes from sitting so long. And they eventually rounded out, but they were still pretty hard. And anytime I went around a corner at any kind of speed, it would screech like crazy. And it looked like I was just driving like a jerk, but really it was the tires. I promise it was the tires. Now, oh, so much better. It feels like a smooth, cushiony ride, except it's also kind of sporty. Put a smile on your face too. Now, some people have asked me in the past, Alex, why do you like European cars so much? Well, they're round, they're curvy. You almost feel kind of dirty washing them because they're so darn sexy. But they're just, you know, they're designed in a time, and there's a lot of 50s and 60s cars around that period of time and prior, where they were designing a car for looks, for beauty. They wanted it to stand out and really be something. They weren't concerned with the gas mileage. They weren't concerned with safety features. What they were concerned with was the art of the car. And that's why I like these sort of vehicles. Now, I wouldn't say it's exclusive to 1950s European cars or 60s European cars. I really enjoy a lot of North American cars too. I've had lots of them. I quite like my old truck that I have, and I use it like a truck. But, and 55, 67 Buicks, Chevs, Olds, Pontiacs, especially the Buicks in my mind, are very pretty, very nice, and very reliable cars. But when you're a car guy and you want to have that little extra something, there's nothing like an old Italian. And going for a little drive helps settle the suspension down a bit so it doesn't look like a monster truck anymore. So with that behind me, I can move on to going through the stuff that was in the trunk. When I went through the house, there's a few things that really stood out. And this was, some of the tools are still out. There was a few things that stood out to me from the collection I went to go see. One, there was a Mini Toys, which was beautiful, Canadian made, these are, but they're an absolutely stunning pressed steel vehicle and very collectible. They did a series of tanker trucks like this. This is the Texaco version. They had pretty much every major service station. Let's see, where do I hook that in? Right about there. There we go. So they made all sorts of different tankers for service stations. Superfast, Texaco, Imperial. Texaco is one of the more common ones, but these tanker trucks can sell anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 Canadian. Sometimes they reach those kind of levels in US. Now, when you see them online and they're $1,500, a lot of times they've been repainted, refinished, or restored. This is 100% original paint, original finish, and it's still actually in very decent condition considering. So I didn't want to leave it behind. It's got nice tires on it. The decals are all in place. And you can tell that it hasn't been sat. A lot of times kids would sit on these and they'd get kind of squished in or bowed. Or sometimes the back panels would get destroyed from being pushed and backed and bashed into stuff. This one, really none of those issues. A little bit of wear and tear to be expected. I mean, this is 75 years old or so. So what do you expect? So that was a really cool find. Of course, when I saw this on the wall, I had to pick it up. It's an original RCA Victor clock, but it's advertising the television. Of course, when this came out, really not many people had TVs. It was a fairly new invention in the early 50s. I mean, it'd been around for a while, but it wasn't really in everybody's house at that time. It wasn't until the late 50s into the 60s that you started seeing TV sets. And really nobody had more than one TV set. Remember in Back to the Future when she's saying, how many TV sets do you have? And he said he had 2. They thought they must have been millionaires. It lights up, it does work, it's complete, and it's a really cool piece of advertising history. And this is a Canadian-made piece as well. The Canadian Neon Ray Company made this, and it's in 100% functioning condition with the original back glass decal. A lot of times you get burn marks in here because people put bulbs that are too high of a wattage, and it actually burns and melts the graphics, the design off the back. This one has a little bit of a little wear. You can't really see it. It's not too bad. But really, it looks good. This is meant for a very low wattage bulb. But something that I saw that was there that I really wanted to have kind of for myself is this. It's an original Spartan radio light. This is a store advertising sign. I happen to have a Spartan Bluebird. In fact, in every episode that you guys watch, there's a Spartan Bluebird radio. There's a fellow fixing radio. He's fixing my radio in that. It's at the beginning of this episode even. So to find a Spartan radio sign to match the Spartan radio I have is kind of like, when's that ever going to happen again? They probably didn't make a whole lot of these little signs, and they certainly didn't make a lot of Bluebird radios, considered one of the nicest Art Deco radio ever. So very cool piece. In fact, let's plug it in and see if it works. Gosh, I'm glad I plugged in it. It's even cooler when it's lit up. The camera is kind of bleeding out the color of the red, but it's a nice bright red and green with yellow and red for the flower there. That's the thing with sometimes when you're on camera, you can't really get the colors out of it, but that's fantastic. It's in great shape. So this probably would have been like a store window display or sat on a shelf at an old retail store that sold radios. How cool is this? I'm really thrilled. And even more thrilled that I didn't electrocute myself, because this cable is the original braided covered cable, and it's from the 1930s. Look at that Bakelite end on there. So it's actually, the wiring seems good in it. So that's a big bonus, but a piece that I will love and cherish myself. In the next bin, we have a couple of 1950s tin robots. This, I believe, is it Asahi? It's made in, not Asahi. It's not a beer. It is a Japanese tin robot. It might be Yonezawa. Not sure, but his little chest plate opens up and you've got these little lasers that pew, 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 they're meant to shoot out. We'll test him with some D-cell batteries later and see if he does anything, but he's a nice rare little piece, and I think I might have him in his original box already, but I didn't want to pass it up. I can see that there are little notes attached to everything as the gentleman I bought this from was doing research. This is a Horikawa Japan Godzilla Monster Dino Robot is what they called it. Now, obviously it'd be worth a lot of money, $2,300 US if it had its original box. We both agreed it wasn't worth that much because it needs some repair. It's missing the 2 little panels off the side, and it doesn't have the box. But I've never actually even had a shot at owning one of these. It's a very rare tin robot. So to find one in any condition is good. So for me, I was happy just to get it. In fact, you look at the arms, very similar, almost identical to the arms on this other guy. A lot of times they shared body molds and they just kind of changed them up a little bit. Looks like his little mouth would chomp open and close. But I'm going to look online and see if they sell these little replacement pieces that go on the side here. If they do, maybe I can piece them back together and try and build one that looks complete. But that's super cool. The other thing I picked up was this. This is, okay, I'll show you this in a second. These are all basically, like when James Bond came out, they came out with all sorts of stuff that was, you know, different devices that could turn into guns. So this looks like a pocket knife, which, you know, would be a weapon on its own. But in fact, that pops out, this comes down, and look, you've got your secret agent. Hopefully I changed that just enough to not get copyright infringements, but it's a little James Bond style gun that turns into a pocket knife. Isn't that ever neat? I thought so. And same thing with the camera. This turns into a gun. I imagine it probably folds and opens up. So there's a little camera that turns into a gun. Oh, look at that. Geez, that scared the heck out of me. And there you go. So it turns into a gun as well. And there's the spot for the caps to go. So functioning cap gun. And then you've got your Agent Zero camera. What happens if I push this? Oh, it's a really big gun. So isn't that neat? So the secret agent gear set I thought was so cool, and I just couldn't leave it behind because, well, what kid, adult, or human being could leave behind this kind of cool stuff? I know I couldn't. Let's get over to the belt buckle gun. Now, it's exactly what it sounds like. When it says buckle gun right on the outside, it's made by Mattel. It is an actual buckle gun. Nothing like having open flame right next to your crotch, but that's what this is. It is a functioning little cap gun. I don't know how you fire this thing. Oh, it looks like you maybe push up on that. I'm learning as I go here, folks, so I'm probably gonna get my finger stuck in here. There's a way to make it fire. Anyway, it shoots caps. You know what? I bet it springs out forward. Hang on. I'm going to play with this for a sec, see if I can make it do something. It's even cooler than I thought. When you press down on the side lever, which is here, look, it pops out. And it actually does shoot a little projectile. It has a little bullet in there. Not a real bullet, a little plastic bullet, but nonetheless, isn't that cool? A little Derringer built right into your belt buckle. I think it's neat anyway. And better than that, it has the original box, which is super cool. I'll be careful not to get it dirty. My hands are still a bit dirty from working on the motorcycle, so you have to forgive me as I kind of play around with this stuff. But I thought that was so cool. There was also a pile of toy cars. Now, if you know me, you know that I like my old toy cars. And there's certain ones that I'm looking for. You've got the General Lees. Those are always good. This is actually a James Bond car. It's a Corgi Jr. I think, was it Spy Who Loved Me? Or this was featured in a James Bond movie, the little Citroen Deux Chevaux. I think that's what that is. You've got your Superman van. Like, Superman needs a van. I guess if he's going somewhere, you know, you can't always change in a phone booth. And him and Lois Lane might need a place to park by the, you know, Makeout Hill anyway. So there's the Superman vehicles. Fireball. It's the it's more the character, like the little James Bond type cars and stuff that I'm after. I collect movie and TV themed vehicles, so I'm always kind of keeping my eye open for those. It looks like we've got a nice little selection, and I honestly haven't gone through all this stuff. Some nice old majorette trucks and trailers. That's more of an antique one. That's a Rawls toy. That's 1950s. I don't know if the cab's in here for it or not, but that's cool. So lots of nice little... If only they made vehicles that were space age like they were planning in the 70s on the toys. Over in this area, there we go. There's the Lotus from James Bond. We've got the Batmobile. In fact, a couple Batmobiles in here. Randomly, Minnie Mouse, who looks like she's driving a Lincoln Town car. You go, girl. There's Donald Duck in his Jeep. And we've got Batcopters. That might be, oh gosh, Airwolf maybe. Lots of these little James Bond cars in here. And I see, oh, there's a good one right there. I don't know if I have a nice one of these. That's a little James Bond car, and it's got the working feature of the guy pops out of the top, and the paint's actually nice on that too. So he's got these in plastic because he was doing some research prior to me coming over, trying to figure out where to sell. And I think the problem was that he acquired so much stuff that it's a real hassle to try and sell everything bit by bit. And there's a lot of risk at auctions, so some people don't want to take the risk and end up selling a collection like this to me. There's a little coffee, tea, snack, refreshment van. There's a neat one. That's the Honda motorcycle trailer with the Honda motorcycle in it. And you got your Vespa with the sidecar, and that I think would have been a Triumph with the sidecar. Unfortunately, it's a little worse for wear. It's missing the front end, but we've got the Volkswagen delivery panel van. Oh gosh, this is a Studebaker Wagoneer. Now forget the fact that the condition is terrible on this thing. I always wanted the real version of this car because the real version had part of the roof that actually slid open like this. And the idea was that you could put, refrigerators and bigger stuff in the back. I thought, how practical, if you're moving something big, you can just move your roof out of the way. What a great idea. Hard to find those cars in good shape. Usually they look like this or worse. So I've never found one that was decent. As of right now, there's a Mustang. These are little shifter cars. It looks like is that a Triumph TR7 maybe, or Fiat X19? We've got another James Bond car, a little worse for wear, but I do hang on to those because I will fix them up. In the 80s, Hot Wheels came out with these cars, which were real riders. They have rubber tires on them. And that's a variation of the rims. One's gray, one's white. So those are kind of cool. I think that's about a 40 Ford. So lots of fun little cars and collectibles here. A nice old Matchbox. Tons of fun stuff that, I was going to say, look, there's another one. It's the same one I looked at before. See how easily I get excited? This is Cooter's, Cooter, the police car from Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider. I mean, lots of little bits, and there's a few Redline Hot Wheels in here, not in the greatest shape, but they're there. But that's not all. I also have all these cases of cars too. So I'm gonna have to kind of sort through this stuff and see what needs to be added to my own collection and what should be sold later on at an auction sale. So lots and lots of fun stuff here. And, even just to get these old cases. Now, this is probably from the 1980s, so I'm kind of expecting 1980s cars to be inside. Let's have a look. 70s, 80s stuff, but it is worth having a better look because there are some variations of these older cars. They actually made this in a red line. Oh, look, it is a red line. Huh. Look at that. They made some Hot Wheel vans like this where you look in the back and you could see like a picture of the Incredible Hulk or whatever it was at the time. Oh, look, there's another red line right there. I guess I should really go through these because there are some better. See the red stripe on the wheel? Can you see that? That denotes a red line Hot Wheel, and those are the more collectible of the Hot Wheel cars. There's all kinds of neat stuff here. Okay, well, there's not just 1980s things. There's 60s things, including the Matchbox steering. It has a little steering mechanism on it. Matchbox steerable Mustang. Some red lines in here. Oh boy, some good. Oh look, there's another red line. There's a Mustang. I guess I'm going to have to go through I get to go through all this stuff, and I'm excited to do it. So guys, I kind of hope you enjoyed today's adventure. I mean, kind of a mixed bag here. We're putting wheels on a car. We're getting a scooter running. Abigail's learning how to ride a motorcycle for the first time, and I am still a big kid, and I'm playing with the little toys and the big ones and having lots of fun. But guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I am going to get busy here and get sorting and do what I do. I'm going to sell the stuff that I bought, and hopefully there'll be a profit left over, and we'll keep on doing this probably until the end of time. Guys, have a wonderful day. We'll see y'all soon. And as always, bye for now. Oh, and subscribe. If you haven't done that, hit the little button. It's somewhere up here or down there. I don't know where it is. Hit the subscribe button. You'll get notified when the videos come up. And if there's certain videos that you look for, then you can watch the ones you like or watch them all. I do, because I'm usually living it. Anyway, guys, have a great day again, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.